Right, number one, the Queen, Aretha Franklin.
Oh my goodness. Well, the story behind Aretha Franklin is writing the song for a movie called Bobby, which was about the day Bobby Kennedy was killed. Now, pretty serious film, serious subject. Bryan Adams and I were asked to write a song for it by the illustrious Harvey Weinstein, who was producing the film. And we wrote a song there and then, actually, inspired by the script called The Day. Now, the movie is actually set in the Ambassador Hotel in LA, which is now gone. But it was a famous old hotel. Lots of stars used to stay there. Bobby gave his speech after winning the California primary, and then in the kitchen was Saran waiting for him. He came through the kitchen, got shot, unfortunately died. But a lot of other people got shot as well. So the film is about everything that happened in that day in the hotel that culminates in getting shot in the kitchen. So it's an amazing story. It's an incredible cast. So let me just tell you this story about this film, because this is brilliant. So we wrote the song, right, which was probably one of the toughest songs I've ever written, because Harvey Weinstein, who, for all his failings, is also a genius when it comes to film and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you've got to think about who lost the most. And we thought about that, not just his family, but who lost the most. And it was actually the civil rights movement. It was Black Americans who lost the most, because Dr. King was taken, his brother JFK was taken. Bobby was the last hope at that time. And when he was killed, it put that country back. Well, we know it's still struggling with it now, right? It's still in that same space. Bobby would have changed that. He was the last hope. So it needed to be a gospel song. It needed to be a song that sort of represented everything about faith and loss. And I'll be honest, probably the toughest song I've ever written, because it was probably the most honest. And it was tough to write, but do you know what? We wrote it. We were really happy with it. Then we found out that Aretha had heard the lyric and read the lyric, and she said, and I'm having this because it's going on my tombstone.
Wow, Jesus.
She said, I had to sing this song. It's the best lyric I've read in 20 years. I was like, okay, boom. Take me now. I've come. This is what I came to do. Oh, you can have me.
Oh my God. Is that fulfilling a life goal, or is that fulfilling a life goal? Jesus Christ.
It's like an entire life goal. I mean, she was one of my favorite idols, iconic voices of all of my life. But check this out for a story. So Emilio Estevez wrote and produced it, and we were nominated for a Golden Globe. Now, that in itself is a funny experience. Do you mind me telling you all this story?
Please go for it. I'd love to hear it.
So we get invited, and Bryan says to me, all right, I'm going to pick you up. You know, I'll pick you up in the limo at a certain time. He says, someone's going to come round with some suits for you. So I was dressed by Hugo Boss that day.
Wow.
When I say that, someone brought me a Hugo Boss tuxedo.
Okay. Yeah.
So I get in the car with Bryan, and we go along. Now, when you go to the Golden Globes, all you ever see is the people sitting there along the red carpet. Well, on the other side are a load of cameras, right, from all over the world. So our car pulls up, and Bryan gets out, and all the cameras are going like this. I get out, and you can sort of hear this collective, who the bloody hell is this guy, and everyone starts polishing their lenses. I thought it was kind of funny. And then this woman from the company comes along. She puts her hands on the small of your back, and she's like, okay, we're walking, and pushing you up the red carpet. Yeah, and she's already set up these interviews. And the first interview was with Quest on CNN. You know, the guy, the finance guy?
Oh, yeah.
Now I recognized him, so I was a little bit starstruck. And I went, hey, mate. And we go up there, and he says to me, so, Bryan Adams, you've been here before, of course.
That's a great accent. That's You've really got that impression down. Sorry, go ahead.
You've been nominated before, and Robin Hood, but Eliot Kennedy, this is your first time here. What does this mean to you? The Golden Globes, what does it mean to you? And I sort of, at that point, and Bryan Adams always says, the further away from the north I get, the more northern I get. So, at which point I responded, hey, listen, kid, I'm from Sheffield, and Golden Globes, that's what brass monkeys lose in the winter where I'm from.
Perfect.
At which point, Brian nearly fell over laughing. And he just said, dude, let's just have fun like that all the way. So that was my memory of doing that, my first red carpet experience. Afterwards, and this is where it gets really cool. After the thing, there was a party, and I was sat and I was talking to a couple of the people who were in the film. Christian Slater was one of them. What a sweetheart he is. Mm-hmm. But I ended up talking to Emilio Estevez, who wrote the film. He was really thanking us for the song, and it was really cool. And I said to him, what led you to write this story? And he said, well, do you know what? I was watching the news and I saw that they were going to knock down the hotel. Mm-hmm. And I thought, do you know what? Someone should write that story before they knock it down. And he said, and his brother, Charlie Sheen, said to him, why don't you do it? So he started writing this story. And one day he was running out of time. He was under pressure. His brother said to him, dude, you got to get out of town. Your family's in the way, your kids, your phone's ringing all the time. Why don't you just go out somewhere and find yourself somewhere quiet to finish it off? Otherwise, you're going to miss this chance. So he literally got in his car that day and drove out to the desert in California. And he's driving along. He thought, well, it's getting dark. I better pull over. Pulls into a motel, goes into the motel, and the girl checking him in looks at him, clocks him, and goes, hey, I know you are. And he says, yeah. She says, what are you doing here? He says, well, I'm trying to write a film about the day Bobby Kennedy was killed in the Ambassador Hotel, and it's tougher. And she looks at him stunned, and he says, are you okay? And she says, honey, I was there.
Whoa, no way.
What? She said, I was in the kitchen when Bobby... She was working in the canteen.
Jesus, small world, huh?
Serendipity. So he stayed there and finished the film and just used her as like a living encyclopedia.
Wow.
And then put her on the press tour and wrote a part for her. A young actress plays her in the movie. Unbelievable. So not only was it just an incredible thing, and by the way, Aretha went on and won a Grammy with that song, her last Grammy. So it's one of the most, if not beside the birth of my children, probably the most significant moment in my life.
Wow. In terms of your career, was that like a moment where you said to yourself, like, I've arrived, like I'm established? Or did that come a lot earlier? Because there were a lot of things that happened earlier.
My moment was, Jesus, I hope they don't realize I'm just Elliot from Sheffield.